I'm Tim with the Geeked Up Game Review Group, and today I'm going to bring you guys a component overview and a review of Adventure Maximus. Now, we did post a unboxing of this a while back, right after Gen Con, and it's a role-playing game starter set, and some of the characters that you can play in here are kind of funny. You can be like a hamburger, a dragon, a goblin. I think the hamburger is the only one that kind of stands out here being funny. What brought our attention to this game, me and Anna, and Anna's at class, she's not with me today, is this Minotaur. So we basically just requested to do a review for the game, and we got it. So we're really excited to do this. We have just ventured into the Pathfinder role-playing game, this role-playing game, so we've got some RPGs going, and then we have some other add-ons to other games, but talk about those later. So right now, let's go ahead and go over to the box for Adventure Maximus. Open up the box, show you guys all the character sheets and some of the really cool rule book it comes with. And I want to talk about the first two rules in the book, because I think those are kind of funny but very important. So let's go ahead and head on over to the box. Alright guys, so here we have the box of Adventure Maximus role-playing game starter set. If you have young kids that watch you guys play your RPGs in the adult RPGs, such as D&D or Pathfinder, stuff like that, and they're interested, this would be a great game to start with. It does have a label on the back that says designed for kids. So let's go ahead and open it up and show you guys the really cool artwork and everything and why it's really kid friendly. Well, you can mostly tell by the cover of the box. But we all want to see the innards. The rulebook's really fun to read. And actually, I just wanted to highlight the first two rules. So rule number one is everyone have fun. Adventure Maximus is all about fun. Be silly, be brave, save the world. Whatever you do, have fun. Rule two, make it up. If you get confused or not sure what to do, use your imagination and make something up. As long as what you make up doesn't ignore rule one, you're good. Keep playing and see what happens. So, I mean, reading those first two rules really shows that this game is a very flexible RPG. It's not a hardcore structured, you can't do this, you can't do that type of RPG. Even though most RPGs let you do a lot of stuff freely, this one is really out there as far as doing everything. So the cards that we have, and most of these are labeled, so we'll just move this box out of the way. I should probably put it over here where I can reach it. We have our creature cards, we have map cards, we have class cards, we have action cards, we have race cards, not race cars, race cards, and spell cards. And I've noticed in a lot of games, spell cards are always purple. Maybe that's just like the default color. Anyways, and then we have equipment cards. So we have a lot of cards in the game. These dice, they start blank, but then you have stickers on there. So you can roll your swords, and I'm not sure what that logo is. I don't remember. Of course, I'm just showing you the contents. We haven't played through this one yet. So then we have these gems here, or these markers. They're blue, orange, pink. I think that's the only three colors: blue, orange, and pink. And then we have. Now this is a coin. This is heads, and this is tails. And actually, let me flip that right side up. There you go. Little butt with a tail. So kind of just a little funny gesture. And we have our character sheets here, where you put your hero's name, you have your race card, place race card, hero here, your class card, and an action card. So we have 1, 2, I think there's 4 or 5 of those sheets in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 of them there. You could always, I think they do have printable copies at AdventureMaximus.com where you can go and print more of these sheets off. I think we read that in the rulebook somewhere. And then this is the adventure sheet. So this is going to be like your dungeon, per se. Yeah, so right here it says begin your adventure here, and then you would 1, 2, and 3. So that's the contents inside the box, and then the back of the box it shows you that is ages 8 and up. It's 3 to 6 players, and then it shows you like a little background, shows you all the contents and designed for kids. And this game powered by the Who, What, Where Adventure Creation System. All right, so that's all the contents. So let's go ahead and show you guys a little bit of a gameplay, or at least how to set the game up to play, and share our thoughts on the end. All right, guys. So this is how you're gonna set the game up. Basically, what's gonna happen first is you're gonna draw. You're gonna do the heroes are gonna do their sheet first, or you can have the heroes go and you can build your 3 scenarios or your 3 adventures while they do that. But there's only one rule book, so it's easiest for everyone to do their heroes, and then the game master do the dungeon. So each person, they would draw 3 race cards and pick one, draw 3 green and pick one, and draw 3 of the yellow and pick one. The way that I'm going to do it for right now is I selected the Minotaur because that's our mascot logo, so that's why I picked that, and Minotaur is my favorite creature. And then I have picked him to be a warrior. Now what that does is the warrior, I get 1 action card, which is orange, or I'm sorry, 1 equipment card, which is orange, which will go here, 2 action cards, which will be here, or equipment cards. So red is equipment, orange is action. I'm getting confused. So my action card is that I'm a daredevil. What that gives me is I'm a fall guy, so I get +4 to acrobatic skill. High wire, you can move at normal speed, even on the narrowest of surfaces. Dare not to care, immune to scary effects. Risky frisky, you gain an additional action when you take a big risk, such as leaping off a high roof or using a dragon as a step stool. Me ouchless, you take no falling damage and always land on your feet. Now those do cost action points. The purple pips, those are action points, and how many you know you have is depicted on your character's card. So you'll have these 3 pips there. So you'll get 3 blue icons, and then you can put them wherever, but I'll put them in here. This picture frame, you're supposed to draw your character and then color it, but for a quicker setup, to show you guys how to set up, you'll go ahead and I use it as a pool. Okay, and then this also says that I get 2 equipment cards. So the 2 equipments, I did not pick these are random. So I have steam engine, but it's not hooked to anything, so it's just steam engine. And then Redbeard's cutlass. Okay, I almost said Cutlin. I was like, that's not right. And then I don't have any spells because that's 0 and it's purple. Every character is going to start with 4 armor and 2 willpower. So the blue is 4 and the purple or pinkish color is 2. My hero name is Ferdinand. So I'm not angry at first, but then when you start poking at me and everything, or if I sit on a bee, then I'm really angry. If you guys know the children's story of Ferdinand, you know what I'm talking about. So that's how you're going to set up your character in a nutshell. And then the rolling dice, if you roll a blank, it's 0. If you roll 1 sword, it's worth 1 success. If you roll 2 swords, it's 2 success. And then that squiggly line that I was showing you guys, if you roll that, you get 2 success, plus you get to re-roll the die and add it to what you've already received in success. So that's how that works. And then the rulebook is going to have you go ahead and go to the dungeon build, or scenarios, or adventures. technically it says adventures, I do believe. And so you'll start with your showdown. Now the showdown, they're going to have you pick your boss, your location, and a prize card in the center. So I chose everything. It's supposed to be randomized. You're supposed to take the decks, draw 3, pick one. I actually built this because that's how most of our RPGs go. We build custom everything. Also, the rulebook says we can ignore everything, so I already picked monsters. The rulebook says I can do whatever I want. And then we've picked the black arrow, beeswax, and scale armor to be our 3 prizes or loot. Then we picked the necropolis for our last area, and then I picked the Dungeon of Dread as the second area, and then the Haunted Fishing Village. So that's going to be how you're going to set everything up. Now, do remember this is mostly randomized, but the way that me and Anna and our group plays, we go ahead and just pick where we want to go. Locations, they can kind of matter because of your story and the way you're going to rate it. Equipment cards, they're also, I made sure that we actually got some cool equipment, so I got scale armor for +3 armor. Metal or bone plates and leather make you dragon tough. And then I made sure that the character, my hero that I built, was going to be able to defeat the boss and the 2 monsters that are in here as well. So I did make it balanced. I didn't make one of them overpowered or anything, so I did keep it nice. But that's how you're going to set the game up, and then basically it's going to go like an RPG would. You would say, okay, so it starts here, and I made a couple of errors on this. It gives you what you're supposed to put in here, and it says you can put in a fairy tale creature, and they give you a list of fairy tale creatures in the book, like Cinderella and Snow White and all those people, Red Riding Hood, stuff like that. But I made my own, and I named my fairy tale creature as Laconian, which is actually one of my characters on another game, and he is a race of the Lycans. So Laconian, race of the Lycans, has asked for your help. Tremera, which is the creature, boss monster that has stolen the black arrow, you would read it as has asked for your help. Tremera has captured the cursed black arrow. Now, cursed black arrow, I just kind of put that together because I thought it sounded cool, and then when I thought about it, I was like, well, nobody wants anything cursed, so why don't we let him keep it? But anyways, because he'll use it for evil. That's why. Cursed black arrow. You must travel to the skull, which was, it said to use a feature from the card, so the skull, in the necropolis, bring back the black arrow, and you will be rewarded. So basically everything that you're doing and how to set this game up is really straightforward. You can almost not read the rules and know what you need to do. It says place a hero card here, grab a hero card, place it there, your actions, equipment, all that stuff. The only thing you do need to read is your starting armor and starting willpower, which is always the same for all characters starting out is 4 and 2. The green is far attack, which will probably be boosted by equipment and everything else. And then the red is for close melee attacks, and there's no starting stats for those, so those will come into later. And it also tells you all these icons are actually on your sheet telling you what is each thing. So earlier when I mixed up equipment and action, I should have been able to reference to the top and come here. So this way you eliminate a lot of going to the rule book or asking the game master if what everything represents. So that's how you set the game up, and then everything's ready to go. You'll read the thing of why we're doing what we're doing, and then you just start your story. Just tell your characters or your heroes, why are we at the Haunted Fishing Village? What are we looking for? Can we see the beast, the monster? Can we not see the monster? Is the monster friendly? Is it going to attack us right away? Stuff like that. You can just go and take off from there. The thing that I thought was interesting about this is that you're restricted to 3 action points. So you're going to have these 3 action points, and then you can do anything that you have those points to use. So if you want to, your initiative test doesn't cost you anything. You can talk, you can look, and you can contest, or you can contest a test, and you can resist spells at no action cost. So you would roll for those, and then your walking, your regular attack, and a skill test is going to cost you 1 action. And then running, climbing, or leaving loot, which is the red icon, which is a close attack, it's saying, it's going to cost you 2 actions. So you can see no action, 1 action, 2 actions, 3 actions. 3 actions is to charge, climb, and attack. So that would be, I guess, not a regular attack, because that would only cost you 1. But then this one you can like really go at somebody and do a 3. And then to use your equipment, like the steam engine would cost me 1. The cutlass would cost me 2. So you really have to like kind of use resources really well, because then you have like horn charge, and that's going to cost you 3. And then some stuff down here is going to cost you your points as well. So you gotta, like on your turn, you've got 3 points, and you kind of have to disperse them evenly. And then the creatures are controlled by the game master, and they also have their actions and what they can use. And the creatures, Tremera, he actually gets 3 equipment cards, 3 action cards. See, I did it again. 3 action cards, 5 equipment cards, and 3 spells. And then Ronyan, he gets 1 action, 2 equipment, 0 spells. And then our other monster, Mustache Fiend, he gets 1 action, 1 equipment, 3 spells. So you can really tell the difference between the monsters and the bosses and everything. And it is a 3 to 6 player game. Unfortunately, I can only show you how to set it up. RPGs are mostly something you need to see in action to really know, how it runs and everything. And not having 3 people is kind of a bummer. But I can try to kind of simulate what's going to go on and everything else. The wound markers are, I guess you can, the rule book's kind of the same color, but let's say orange is wound and the pink is your experience tokens. So let's say your heroes are coming up on the haunted fishing village, and the reason they're there is they're looking for the scale armor. And first, they have to defeat the Mustache Fiend. I know it's not a very interesting story, but so what they're gonna do is that they're actually inside, starting out that big house there, and they're looking out the windows, and they can see the fog on the lake, and they can see the Gulf shore, and they can see the beach. There's a really dark, smoggy overcast, but they're inside, so they don't have to worry about getting rained on or anything like that. So the weather and everything outside is not going to matter on elements. But they're inside, kind of walking around, and then they notice a glow from a room, and they go through the doorway, and then there he is. There's the Mustache Fiend. And they see the scale armor hanging on the wall, but they know that the Fiend, so they try to talk to him because they think that he's a friendly. So then you would come to the action. You would say it's no action to talk. So they're talking to the monster, and the monster's not responding. Then what would happen is the adventurer or the hero would say, can I spend no actions? Can I talk to the creature? And then the game master would say yes or no. Now in the rule book they encourage you to say yes, and something else happens. Yes, you can talk to the creature, or you can say but the mustache fiend isn't in a talking mood right now and starts floating towards you. And it goes on and on and on. And it's just, the game can change because of who's telling the story, who's the game master, stuff like that. So this is a basic setup of how the game is starting, and yeah, so it's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my conclusion. I wish I could really simulate and get something to show you guys how we would play through. If you're not interested in Adventure Maximus and you're more into the adult games, we will be doing some Pathfinder RPG. So we do have a group for that. Unfortunately, Adventure Maximus, I couldn't get a group together because it's for children mostly, and they want something that's more adult themed, I guess. I don't know. It's just their thought process. I feel like an RPG is an RPG. You can make it adult if you want. So, but that's my thoughts on that part. So let's go ahead and go to my conclusion before I give all my thoughts here into how to set the game up. Alright guys, so Adventure Maximus, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Just setting up the characters was a lot of fun. Me and Anna, we played it a couple times. I didn't get it on film. I do apologize for that. And I hope that maybe in the future we can get something on film and have like a big group playing it. And I know it's hard to get people to play certain games because of the way they're depicted. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's just like it was nice to do because it was an entry level for us to play an RPG, and then go through the rulings and stuff and actually learn that one. And now we're actually venturing into Pathfinder, which is a very big popular RPG. Tried going for D&D, but Anna's kind of finicky about that, especially with the starter box, because we could get a lot more with Pathfinder. But it's kind of cool because it's children based. The artwork, how it works, and if it says if you get lost and don't know what to do, just make it up. So that's what's great about the RPGs too, because if you're the running the dungeon and you think you messed something up, just be like, oh whatever, just go with it, because it is what it is. You just kind of make it up as you go. And then one of the rules inside of the book said the game master's always right, and it says if you want to argue about it, wait till the adventure's over. So you do the one adventure and be like, hey, I don't think it should have went this way, I should have went this way. But game masters, we kind of have to say so what goes on. So, and I think it was really cool that they encouraged the don't say no, say yes, and then make something else happen. Like they had a little scenario in there that said, can I shoot my arrow from where I'm at to hit the gem out so that my other player can catch it? And then it shows the DM or GM saying yes. And in doing so, a falcon comes down and swoops the gem down before it hits the ground. And then now they have to go and chase this falcon down and try to take the falcon out, do stuff like that. It's really a lot of fun, playing RPGs and doing stuff like that, and me being brand new to it, and it's easy to get into. If you're looking for an entry level, I would say Adventure Maximus is the best starter set to go with. It's inexpensive. It's not hardcore rules. There's a lot of flexibility in it, which there's a lot of flexibility in a lot of RPGs, but I know some are intimidating. This one, it's got cards that you just place cards down, so it keeps it a lot easier for you to track everything, and then it gives you your action tokens and stuff like that. Where Pathfinder, you have this huge sheet of a lot of different skills and a lot more elaborate stuff going on, and D&D as well. So Adventure Maximus is, with the cards, it's really easy to set up. I had the one hero, my Minotaur, which I'm hoping to I have not run that Minotaur. I like that, but I'm hoping to run that Minotaur and then or have Anna run it, and then see if I can build like a really nasty dungeon for it to run through and see if it can handle it. Because I'm a big fan of the solo running, so we'll be doing a lot of Pathfinder solo running. I think Adventure Maximus is definitely one that will run solo. Have a character we run solo and build, and so it's really exciting stuff. So I can't wait to bring you guys more RPG stuff. We as Geeked Up Gaming are just now getting into RPG stuff, so this was really a neat game to pick up and get a hold of for an entry level, so that we can actually venture into heavier RPGs. So yeah, so that's about it. So I'm Tim with Geeked Up Gaming Review Group, as always, and this is Adventure Maximus. Go out to your guys' local game store and grab this if you guys are wanting to get into an RPG. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up.